Hail, the Celts are here, and what the hell do we care now? It is match day 2 of the Champions League. We're coming away to Shakhtar Donetsk in Warsaw for the second match, and honestly, I don't think anyone would have expected so much to be riding on this game so quickly. Shakhtar picking up 3 points in the first game was definitely not on the books for what anyone had when the draw was made. Getting 3 points away to Leipzig is absolutely massive, and Shakhtar will be coming into this game with a lot of confidence that they can pick up points in this game. They are very quickly in the driver's seat for this group, and Celtic need to be getting themselves on the board. This is a pivotal match for us to be getting points on the board. Obviously, we don't expect any points from Real Madrid, but getting to 2 games with less points than more is always going to be a bad mental situation for the team to be in, as games come thick and fast and the pressure will be amped up on them. So in the video today, we'll be talking about how the match is going to be laid out, how we're going to attack Shakhtar, how we need to worry about Shakhtar, and how we're probably going to defend against that. As well as, I think there's some room in here with the extra preparation time that the managers had for the game for us to see some curveballs, for us to see some unlikely selection choices. So I'll be going through that in the video today as well. I want to see your comments in the comment section down below about the unlikely selections that I think have some merit. I want to hear what you think is the one that's the most likely to happen. At any point in the video, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff. And yeah, hail, let's get stuck into it. Now, I'm starting off on this with what I think is the conventional wisdom starting 11, okay? Now, I would very much expect Shakhtar to line up as you see on the screen in front of you in the sort of defensive shape. If you watch the way Shakhtar have been playing, even last season in Europe as well as this one, they're very defensive, and like we said in the preview for the group stage, I'm not expecting any sort of magical football to come out of Shakhtar, but they're very resolute, very one-dimensional in a good way, that they all are on the same page and they know how they're going to be getting their route to go. And it quite simply is leaving guys like Shved and Mudryk as high and wide as they possibly can. Matvienko, Stepanenko and Sujikov were the guys that collected the most passes in the outfield. In particular, Matvienko and Sujikov here are both collecting over 30 accurate passes in the game against Leipzig. Though the next player behind him for completed successful passes is Anatoly Trubin, the goalkeeper, okay? So they're very confident in knocking the ball around defensively and trying to keep some sort of possession when they do retain the ball. Against Leipzig, you can trick Leipzig very well if you know how their system works and how their triggers operate. Leipzig will always, kind of similar to Celtic, commit midfielders onto this press if they see the right trigger signals to go in there. And when you have such an aggressive press like that, if you know where your free man is when that happens, and you know where the space is, and you can get it to the correct players that know how to play that ball. Like Sujikov has got one of the assists from the last game, and it was one of these slicing balls down the channel for your boy Mudryk and Shved and all that to run onto. Then they can play that way. Celtic can bite on that, but equally, I don't think we will fall for the same traps that Leipzig did. The manager will have had access to that footage, and I don't see us making those same kind of mistakes. But the fact that they will invite us onto them, I very much see that Kyogo is going to be a big part of this, as well as Jota. Now, Abada is on to start, okay, but if the manager is expecting them to play like this, as am I would actually favour Maeda in this situation to give them extra pressure, extra harrying. But that kind of takes me on to my first point. If we're thinking about this is their route to go, is finding these little pockets where Mudryk or Shved can get themselves into, and, on the turn of the ball, within 1 or 2 passes, they can be played in to go a one-on-one with the goalkeeper or with a retreating defender chasing them back. The best way for us to stop that, quite simply, is to make sure these guys are marked and taken care of. Now, Carter Vickers and Jens have got a decent amount of pace. They could probably keep up with them if the pass from Sujikov, Matvienko, or whoever else it might be isn't pinpoint accurate. But we do need real legs to get back and chase these guys, because they are clinical. Shved only got 2 shots on target against Leipzig, and both of them were goals. And as you've seen with the guile that Mudryk has in a 1v1 situation with backpedaling defenders, that is when he's at his most dangerous. And even though he only completed 7 passes against Leipzig, he was the standout of the show with his assist and the way he played. So my first curveball that I think could come into the team is Anthony Ralston. Now, Ralston, I think he can do almost the same kind of job as Juranovic in attack against a team that is just going to bank in, because when they don't have the ball, we very much will see them, dive right in depending on where the ball is, and come back and defend. And Ralston is strong, big, and quick enough to be able to do all the stuff that Juranovic does for the most part. And like I've been saying on this channel and on my own over the last kind of month or so, like Juranovic's first halves have not been that great. You know, he's been very good. You know, he's always been putting in assists, and his numbers come the final whistle have been very, very, very good. But his first halves have left room left to be desired. And Ralston, like, I think Ralston might be potentially a better fit to guard against this counter-attack. I think Ralston's recovery is maybe something he's got an edge over Juranovic. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that. But even just as, you know, both these guys are very strong and very capable defensively, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ralston was maybe preferred to Juranovic to guard against that kind of bombing counter-attack, because I don't know, Ralston, the bricky, you know, he does not stop for anything. And I'm not saying Juranovic does necessarily, but I think, you know, Ralston could be a good curveball option to come in. Where I think we have the edge, where somebody like Leipzig would easily fall down in this kind of situation, is when we are trying to create that overload. What we quite often see is the inverted fullback situation, where Taylor can maybe drop into midfield, and that can relieve somebody like O'Reilly to go further forward, or Hatate, and then Taylor comes in here with McGregor and does a bit of the build-up play. Equally, what we've seen before is guys like Jota come all the way into centre attack as Kyogo comes out, or Giakoumakis or whoever, to maybe support any kind of wide play attack that we've got going. So because these overloads, we're kind of borrowing from, like, we don't really need to worry on the counter attack about some of these guys necessarily, whereas we would need to worry about Shved. So if we're going to be focusing in this final third for like Hatate, McGregor, O'Reilly, Jota, the front six, if you like, to be really involved in this, it means then we can maybe edge this inverted fullback situation into a bit more of a cautious situation, in case, you know, we're fighting for the ball, we're trying to get a shot away or something, goalkeeper saves it. He had the third most successful accurate passes in the game, so he is very capable of finding a man in space on the long ball and playing it off. And, you know, if they've got the space and the guys are well positioned enough, these guys can counter and break on us. But I think that's the main way we're going to be attacking, is getting into these little interchange pockets where guys are going to overlap each other. We're going to see O'Reilly come into the centre forward position. We're going to see Jota come across to the front post from the opposite wing. Same with Abada if he is a starter. That's Abada's key strength here, is when we do get ourselves into this situation, Jota one-on-one with the fullback, and as people are running and crowding into the box, Abada's just got a great knack of popping up in the right place at the right time. That's one of our most likely ways, is this O'Reilly, Abada. And even Hatate is really on for a big match. Like, I'm expecting to see lots of moments in the game where we've got these little quadrants of like Taylor, Hatate, McGregor and Jens maybe circulating the ball around while everyone else is moving into position and trying to create some space to get on the ball. Or, you know, equally on the other side here, maybe McGregor, Juranovic. But again, Hatate is the one that I expect to be following McGregor around, and O'Reilly to be almost taking up this kind of number 10 second striker kind of option, and keeping this step and echo further back to buy these guys a bit of space. And, you know, Hatate, like, some of the passes he played against Real Madrid were absolutely fantastic, but this is a game where, like Mudryk did against Leipzig, we need to see guys like Hatate and O'Reilly, like, win a Champions League game, really stamp their mark on it. And I think, you know, if this is the team, we're very well built and very well capable of actually getting out. Konoplia, the left back over here, this guy picked up like 4 or 5 fouls in the first game. He picked up a booking as well. And, you know, I think this seems to be the area where we might try and actually force the ball down and see if this guy's got a few more ricks in him. But equally, none of the defence really stood out as being exceptional. They all did pretty well in effective clearances and interceptions. So they're all quite switched on defensively, but in terms of passing or in terms of build-out play or getting even further forward with like attacking set pieces, they didn't really have any real footprint on that. So it's just about us interchanging, keeping these guys on their toes and causing these overloads in the right spaces, and ultimately, when we do get the opportunity, making sure that we take our chances and bury them. The next curveball I could imagine happening in this team is somehow Aaron Moy starts, and I think the only way Aaron Moy starts is in this position here, and subsequently then it's between Rio and O'Reilly. I think McGregor would have to also play as well. I'm just going to opt for Rio. But again, I don't think this is going to happen. Similar to Ralston, I don't think it's overly likely, but I think it's definitely been in the manager's thoughts to some extent, because the range of passing Moy's got, if these guys are going to bank in and we're going to turn the ball over if they've just committed bodies forward on the counter-attack. If we're then able to recover the ball, win it, play it to a guy like Moy, who, similar to Tate, maybe not as much McGregor likes kind of shorter range passes, can play the ball into space where the danger man is and put us right back on the attack with the, that kind of turn and play that we do so well from. So I think if Aaron Moy was going to play, it would also allow McGregor to play a little bit deeper, and then maybe as an overall, we're kind of defending in this kind of shape. And it just means then if they are going to be on the ball, it makes it even harder for them to build out. So having this amount of people kind of guarding the halfway line, if you like, allows you to really snuff out any direct passes. Then things need to be played into space for a race. And again, if Taylor, Juranovic, Jens, some of these guys, they're very capable of keeping up with these guys in a foot race. And like we've seen with the goalkeeper and some of these defenders, in 1v1 situations, I back these guys to do well. Now, Georgios Giakoumakis has got every opportunity to be starting as well. If the manager anticipates that we're actually going to have a lot of space out wide and we're going to be able to play a lot of crashing balls into the box, then maybe Gigi is our man to, go and get us a first half victory, if you like, to go and get us in front in the match. But if you look at the Real Madrid game, Gigi was doing really well at pressing, and he really bullied Militao to the extent where Militao had to get subbed off at halftime. But after 30-35 minutes, the amount of space that Giakoumakis allowed centre-backs and the whole defence against Rangers and against Real Madrid was pretty criminal. It's just not in his bag, not in his game. And I feel that if these guys are going to be quite happy to try and test the water and try and invite us into their third, Giakoumakis will be effective, but I don't think he'll be as effective from the start. But if he is picked from the start, I back the manager, of course. And if that is the case, then I expect us to see a lot of play come out wide. And we're looking to play these little triangles out here so that we can get Juranovic, we can get Abada, we can get Jota, these guys into the box, and then we're just looking to fire it off GG for a header or a bicycle kick or whatever it might be. But yeah, I expect, me personally, Jota, Kyogo, Maeda to be the front three that start, because with all these kind of interchanges that we're likely to take advantage of, I think, if we start with this kind of team, I think we can cut a team like Shakhtar open who want to defend with these smart interchanges where Jota comes out centre, Kyogo peels out wide to get on the ball, and then we're laying on chances for somebody else. All those kind of interchange plays that we've been so successful at in spells this season. I think that's going to be the recipe for success that the manager will opt for, and I think it's our best chance at a positive result in this game. My score prediction for the game is 2-1 to Celtic, but I'm trying to be conservative. I think we'll actually get the opportunity to score 3 or 4 goals, and I think with the missed chances against Real Madrid, the guys are going to be chapping at the bit to go and put these chances away. And like Mudryk did against Leipzig, kind of announced himself on the Champions League stage. I think it's that type of game that we're in store for, but it's not going to be easy. Everyone's going to be switched on for 90 minutes. And as the subs tick on in the 60th, 70th, 80th minute, I think that will be the decisive part. Shakhtar also have a super sub in Lassina Traore, who always seems to come on for the last 20, 30 minutes. Very big, strong, powerful forward player with a lot of pace and can bang shots. And on that note, I was a wee bit disappointed at how late the substitutions came against Real Madrid. So maybe the manager, hopefully the manager, is maybe taking some counsel from that, and maybe we see changes go a bit quicker in the match if things aren't quite going according to plan. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Wish us all luck. Hail, hail, moan the hoops. 2-1 Celtic at least, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.